we are on our final episode here at the Brainerd Lakes. And we got Bear right behind us. And there's things we got to do before we're going to leave.
Yep.
And we've got to first repair some of mishaps that we've created.
Yes, finally. Long overdue.
Long overdue. And if you've been keeping tabs, it was back in, I think, January?
Yeah.
February timeframe.
8 months ago.
Went into a harvest toast.
Mm-hmm.
Because the gate was pretty narrow, we didn't quite make it in and tore or bent some trim, corner trim.
Yeah.
And here at the campground that we're staying at currently, we backed in pilot air.
We scraped the post that was there. Well, it wasn't really our fault. It was soft ground after a big rain and the RV tilted. And so it was fine going in, but going out, it was tilted to the left and it leaned up against that post and scraped. Yeah. Actually, it just pulled the same piece of trim off a little further. So it prompted us to actually get it done.
So we're gonna go ahead and start with that, BuzzFam. And then after that, we are gonna be speaking with one of our co-workers that we're volunteering with.
Yeah.
She's got quite the interesting story. And
she does.
It's been, I think she said over 5, 6, 7 years.
I don't know how long she's been on the road, but we'll hear all about that when we...
all about that. You're not going to want to miss that.
Yep.
And then we've got...
our campground review.
Campground review here.
Yep.
And who knows what else we got on store.
Yeah, you just never know.
Just never know. But first we're going to try to fix our mistake, and hopefully we're not going to have to hire someone else to...
yeah, hopefully we can handle it.
Mistake because we couldn't get this on right.
All right.
Let's get going on that.
Okay. Well, this isn't going to be very fun to record because I don't want to flip the top up.
Got the ladder out. That was fun. Yeah, here's the corner trim that we have to take off. Kirsty's gonna go ahead and set up the ladder. Does this remind you of our contracting days?
Actually reminds me of putting up the Christmas tree.
Oh, that's right.
That was why I bought this ladder.
That was right.
So I could decorate the Christmas tree.
My fear is when we take this off, I don't know if we're going to be dealing with any rust or anything like that, because it's been like this literally since January. Well, not this bad, because this is the second time we've dinged up the side. And the other problem is I'm going to have to bend this a little bit to get this even off, these bottom screws.
Okay.
So let's just start here anyway. We'll start taking these ones out. I'm assuming that we get replacement. Some of this corrosion that has formed over the year or so. Doesn't have to be perfect, and this is not really paintable. This must have been the corrosion from the screw. So one of the things that I always recommend doing is opening your new stuff that you ordered to make sure it's all there. It's like measure twice, cut once. Well,
we didn't do
that, so well, we're hoping that it's all there.
Do we want to put maybe a piece of Gorilla Tape down there in that corner before we, just to kind of hold it in place and seal it a little better since it got cut?
Yeah, and I don't think the screw is even going to hold this in here.
Okay.
So I'll get that for now.
We'll just, it'll be kind of like a seal, extra seal there.
Yeah. First thing I need to do before I do anything like that, I need this clean and dry. I personally like using Dirt-Tex for a lot of this stuff because it's not harmful. On fiberglass, it cleans better than Windex does on stuff like this. Now it's clean and dry. Okay.
So tell BuzzFam what happened.
So for what?
BuzzFam, what happened? What are you looking at?
All right, I got 2 screw heads that broke off. So I essentially got the screw inside the screw hole. And the only way I could probably get it out is if I take this whole piece off.
Which we're not doing.
So I don't want to damage this seal. So that's what's keeping water from getting inside. I think our best bet would be to screw all those screws in and then put some silicone over the holes.
Okay.
For now.
Okay. Let's go unwrap the package.
Yep, let's see, make sure we got now that we've got this all off, let's make sure that we've got all the parts we need to put it all back together. Okay, let's see if we got everything. Oh, didn't mean to poke your eye out, BuzzFam. Let's hope we don't need those screws. I'm hoping we got new ones.
Me too.
But I didn't hear anything rolling around, so
They'd be in a little bit.
they'd be taped in a, yeah. We anticipate them. Okay, here we go. I do not hear any screws or see any signs of screws, so there's that. So we are using the old ones. Okay, and this is just foam, right?
Yeah, there's some screws, I think.
Oh!
Wait,
No. Now hopefully we don't have to do any cutting. That was the other thing I was thinking about. I was thinking that this is probably going to be too long, or do you think they made it the right size?
Oh, I feel something in here. Oh, never mind.
That's 2 times you did that to all of us.
No screws.
All right, we got to reuse what we got.
So now we're gonna make sure that all of the previous screw holes are filled in with some silicone.
Yep.
This is just clear, simple silicone caulking. It's not a big deal.
And then of course we got to do every single one.
Yep.
At least this stuff is going to work. I have a lot of confidence in this. It's filling up the holes just fine. Our original trim is 117 inches. So we're going to make the second piece obviously 117 as well. Right there.
Okay.
Okay, now it doesn't have to be exact because we got 2 corner pieces, one at the top and one at the bottom that's going to cover any imperfections. I'm not a surgeon.
Okay.
Now, I want to make sure I'm still at 117. And we are right on 117. Okay, now we'll put this up and then I think the best bet would be to use the middle hole and we'll see what we're dealing with when we try to screw in one of the screws under that side, because I don't know if we don't
know what we're drilling into, people.
Don't know what the backing is. If I'm going into wood or foam or metal, I have no idea. I mean, it could be insulation, foam insulation. I have no idea.
Okay.
All right. Moment of truth, I guess. It'd be great if we were right here. But we're not, are we?
No, we're not.
That'd be great.
I'm gonna go down there.
Get that corner trim.
Yep. And then I'm gonna see if I can see what's underneath the rig in that corner. Maybe I can see what kind of material you're working with. Hold on. Okay, here's the corner piece. Yeah, I think
Do we have to take that tape off?
No.
Does it need to come down or?
Yeah.
Right there?
Right now where you have it,
Yeah.
it looks, I mean, this looks good.
Okay.
It would have been nice if the holes matched up. Is that what you said? Yeah, it sure would have.
Got everything lined up. And the first thing I did was make a starter hole. Now the starter hole is smaller than the screw. I just want to be able to build thread as the screw goes in. You can't do that if you make the hole larger than the screw, obviously.
All right, let's line it up and then we'll see how it goes.
It's going to be right about here.
Okay, Buzz fam, we're gonna take a break from this little project and have a chat with one of our friends here. So hold tight, we're gonna have a little conversation with our friend Nicole.
All right, you know, when you're on the road, it tends to be a little lonely when you don't have a lot of friends around. However, when you're volunteering and you're working at the Army Corps of Engineers, you find friends pretty quick, and I would like you to meet one of ours. Her name is Nicole, and she is fantastic. Hi, Nicole. How you doing?
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
So we've been working together for a little while now.
Yep,
6 weeks, maybe?
about 6 weeks, yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, you've been on the road for a little longer than 6 weeks.
I have, yes.
Tell us, how long have you been on the road?
Almost 3 years. November will be 3 years.
3 years.
Yep, that's right.
And in those 3 years, how many miles do you suppose you put on you have a Class C?
Class C, yep. So when I got to Minnesota, I was right at 20,000 miles
In 3 years?
in 3 years.
What part of the globe have you experienced?
So Western US and Western Canada, and now I'm in Central US, making my way east.
Okay, so we're in central Minnesota, and what are your thoughts of July here in Minnesota?
Well, July felt a lot like Texas, where I'm from, so it was a little rough.
And how'd you like our state bird, the mosquito?
Oh, was not prepared for that, and was definitely getting, it was getting pretty hard to be here.
Right on. Let's go back to your travels. You've been to some pretty crazy, cool places. And one of the places that you've been to is a lot further north than this. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, so last year I spent the summer in Denali in Alaska. Spent about 6 weeks traveling up through Canada, and then again 3.5 months in Denali.
What do you think of Denali?
It was a great experience. Lots of wilderness. The rangers were amazing. Yeah, it was just a great adventure.
And you were volunteering there?
Yes.
And
yeah.
what'd you do? What were your duties there?
So my duties there, so Denali's a national park. They didn't have any well, they do have some campgrounds, but my position was the assistant volunteer coordinator and wildlife safety and education. So a couple of days a week I spent out at a trailhead giving tips, wildlife safety tips, informing visitors on how to stay safe, and then 2 days a week I spent in the office assisting the volunteer coordinator.
So the bears up there were a little different than this bear.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yep, they in Denali, they only had, well, it wasn't common for a black bear to be in the park, but mostly grizzly bears.
Grizzly bears?
Yeah.
Did you see any up close and personal?
Closest was probably about 250 feet.
And how many volunteers were on that?
There were 4 of us.
4 of you?
Well, there were 4 of us in the position I was at. Then they also had a volunteer that worked with the sled dogs.
Oh, sled dogs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get to see any of the sled dogs?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I lived in the same neighborhood as the sled dogs. Yeah.
Were they pretty rowdy in the morning?
They got pretty rowdy at night. If one of them started howling, all of them would start howling. So it was
Right.
it was pretty cool. Yeah, you could go visit them. And special thing about last year is the sled dogs actually had puppies. So there was a litter of puppies too.
Oh man, that is so cool.
It really was.
How
yeah.
many puppies were there?
I think there were about 6 of them. 6
little
pups.
huskies? Were they all huskies?
So they call them Alaskan Huskies because they're bred to be a certain type of husky. So there's not really a specific breed.
Right.
Just they call them Alaskan Huskies.
And they all have different markings. And,
They do all
Yep.
different colors. Yeah, they all look different.
But they're pretty. They're domesticated, but they're still kind of wild too.
Absolutely. Yeah, summer was pretty rough for them. The rangers said when in the winter is when they really thrive. They love
love
that
the cold.
cold. Yep.
Yeah, and this one likes the cold too.
I bet, yeah.
So it does not thrive in the heat.
Sure.
So what was your experience on the taking your Class C on the roads up there?
So it was great through British Columbia, and then once you got to the place called Destruction Bay, it got pretty rough. There are, lots of potholes, which you can maneuver around, but then a lot of dirt roads, like where you just are rumbling the whole time. So there were several parts of the road where I was going like 5 miles per hour, still feeling like I should be going slower.
Right.
Very bumpy.
So 5 miles an hour.
And the RV was just really rumbling.
Did you have any repairs after that trip or no?
No, I did not. No, but one of the other volunteers that drove up in their Airstream said they spent about a month afterwards tightening screws.
See, I don't think that's for us. We've got enough maintenance on our own doing. We don't need our roads playing a major role in that.
Absolutely, yeah. It could get pretty rough, and then on top of that, like very dusty. Once you get off those road, your whole outside storage interior is full covered in dust.
Okay. The wildlife, though, getting back to that, do you see any moose or? Besides bears, there's quite a bit of diverse wildlife out there. What was
Absolutely. So in Denali, they have the big five: bears, moose, caribou, Dall sheep, and wolves.
What are Dall sheep?
A sheep, a type of sheep with the big horns.
Okay. Almost like a ram.
Yeah, yeah. The rams will have the horns. The females will have little horns. So the rams will have the big rams, and the females will have the little horns.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
that's actually why Denali was created, to protect the Dall sheep.
Oh. Now, is that as far north as you got?
No, I went up through Chicken, Alaska.
Chicken, Alaska. Where's that at?
It's the northern point of where you can cross in from Alaska to Canada. So you go north of Fairbanks, and then you come out in Canada around Dawson City. Dawson City, yeah.
Okay, and Dawson City is in Canada.
In Canada, in the Yukon, yeah.
Wasn't that like a gold rush?
It was. It was a gold rush town. Yep.
Yep. A lot of history in that area. So when you were coming back, how long did it take you to get from? What was your next destination?
So at that point, I was just going back home to Texas.
Okay, so that's near Belmont, correct?
Beaumont, yep, outside of Houston.
Okay,
Yeah.
so first off, what was the miles from camp to home?
Oh, it had to be at least 3,000, more than 3,000, because I think when I was on my way up, I was in Northern California, and then to Denali was about 3,000 miles, if I'm recalling correctly. So I really couldn't even tell you.
How long was your, how many days did you travel that in? Obviously, it wasn't a race or anything like that.
No, absolutely not. I actually took about 2 months traveling to Denali because I really just took my time. And then on the way back, probably about a month to get back.
Were you at Banff?
I was, yes, yeah. On my way back, I came down through Jasper National Park and through Banff. Yep.
Banff is just, I heard, incredible as well.
It is. I didn't get to spend as much time as I wanted to at that point. I had a family emergency, so I had to rush back home at that point.
Gotcha.
But I spent maybe about a week in Jasper and then a few days in Banff.
Out of the 3 years, how much did you spend? Most of it out west?
Yes. Started in Texas and traveled along the southern U.S. Through New Mexico, Arizona, California, and then went up north. Spent about 7 months in Oregon, and then spent the winter on the Oregon coast in California, in Northern California, and then up to Denali.
And you've been doing this for 3 years, and what I find interesting, and you're gonna tell me it's more common than I think, but you've been doing this all by yourself, and I have not met a lot of women that have been experiencing RV life, full-time RV life on their own. But you do, and you said
Absolutely.
that you've met quite a few women
Yeah.
on the road that do this by themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think once you get on the road, and especially like through Canada and Western US, maybe it's more common. I'm not sure. I haven't been to the East, but yeah, I've seen lots of women out there driving their campers, just traveling. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're loving life.
I love it. Yes, absolutely.
What are the 3 top aspects you love about this lifestyle?
Well, I get to travel and see the U.S.
Yep.
That's probably top. And being in nature is also like really high up there on the list because I get to live in nature. It's just right outside your door. It's really just a different lifestyle. The community is great.
What kind of maintenance and repair have you had to do on your vehicle in all these 3 years?
Not a lot. So I've had to replace the water pump, the skylight above the shower. I had some wiring damage in the truck.
From squirrels or chipmunks?
Yeah, from some kind of squirrel or chipmunk. They were chewing through the wires. Other than that, the regular RV maintenance, the water heater, the AC, oil changes, things like that. I had to replace a tire, which honestly I don't think I needed to because it was the valve.
Oh, sure, the stem valve.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you could have just replaced the stem valve.
I ended up doing that before I replaced another tire.
All right. Well, that's 3.5 years, and now you're here. What have you loved about because I love this place.
Sure.
We want to come back next year. I could do without the mosquitoes, but honestly, there are about 2.5, 3 weeks of mosquitoes, it seems like.
Yes, and heat.
and the heat, which that also surprises me, being that you're from basically Louisiana. I mean,
Sure.
that's a different kind of humid down there. What do you love about this park and what you did here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I've really just enjoyed working with everyone, the rangers, you guys, and the other volunteers have just been amazing. The campers are really friendly and they're clean for the most part.
Yeah.
I just really enjoy doing the sites. It's mentally stimulating for me. I get exercise out of it. I'm out in the nature, living in the nature. All of that. It's been a great trip, and glad that we're getting cooler days now. So still looking forward to that and the fall around here.
Fall is amazing in Minnesota. Okay, we're almost done. I have one last question for you, and this is a big one. We have a few members and our subscribers that I know that aren't doing this but would like to. What advice would you give them? Would you have them wait, or would you say dive into this? What would you say to them?
Just do it. If you have the opportunity to do it, and you can do it, there are ways that you can easily do it, just like we're doing, finding a campground or a volunteer position. You just need a little bit of money, a little bit of gas money, a little bit of grocery money, and then you're on it. But I think if you wait, trying to be prepared, you never will be. I had no idea about RV life, and I mean, you just got in and did it, and it all worked out. I mean, that's you just got to get in and do it.
Well, there you have it, Buzz fam, and I will echo those words. You don't need to make a lot of money to do this. The longer you wait, I think the harder it is to get into it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks, Nicole.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
It was
appreciate
great
it.
chatting with you.
3 years of white lines rolling out ahead, from the Texas heat to an Alaskan spread. She watched Denali light the midnight sky. Just one soul, one rig, and a reason why. They ask her, girl, is the road worth the cost? Should we hold off, or is the moment lost? She said, jump in, don't you wait for someday. The highway's calling and it won't slow down. Jump in, pack the rig and roll trust the ride. The Boondocks will meet you on the other side. Fire up, jump in, don't you wait for someday. The highway's calling and it won't slow down. Jump in, pack the rig and roll away. There's a whole wide country waiting to be found. Jump in.
It was a fun conversation with Nicole, wasn't it?
It was.
She's so great.
She is fun to have around.
You have something on your face.
All right.
Okay, so now back to this project. These kinds of things make me super nervous because we're not real handy and I'm scared. But
I'm not.
yeah, that scares me more. But
Yeah, that scares you more.
yeah, it does.
We'll take care of this.
It worked.
Yes.
How's it look on the side?
I don't know. I can't see the side,
Okay.
but it's all the way in.
Okay,
It's one. Got two in.
2 in, and it's snugging up nicely.
Is
Look
it?
at that. Yep, it is. Looks good. Nice.
It's going in, babe.
They're working.
It's going in.
Look at that. Look at you. Nice
Huh?
job.
Are you impressed?
Maybe.
I should probably scale back on my skill set because then you're going to think I can do everything.
No, I wouldn't worry about that.
Oh, okay. Yep.
All right. Well, we'll keep going on this, Buzz fam.
Yeah, don't worry about a thing. We'll take care of the rest of it, and if we have any problems, we'll let you know. All right.
So far, so good. Never thought that putting up a piece of trim was going to be quite this complicated, you got to admit.
No. Oh, shit.
But
And it's
that's
not
just-
over yet.
And that's just a heads up, guys. So we'll let you know how it goes in the end.
Yep. All right, Buzz fam, we got this in. Trim's up. And we are road worthy now, for the most part.
Yeah.
There's a few things we need to do before we hit the trails, but we're gonna go ahead and do our campground review. And this is a nice one.
Yeah, it is.
If you are in the Brainerd Lakes area, you're gonna wanna listen up. If you are even within the 5-state area, this is much better than you're gonna find pretty much anywhere else in the 5-state area for the price you're gonna get. So we're gonna cover that right now. Let's go.
All right. Okay, Buzz fam, we got one task off the list, but we have so much more to talk to you about because
We've got a campground review.
Yeah.
This wonderful Army Corps engineers here at East Gull Lake has treated us well for the past 8 weeks.
yeah, they sure have. And though this park is smaller, it's not a big resort, nothing fancy. It's more akin to like a state park. It's actually pretty amazing. You got to hear about it, and it's kind of a steal of a deal.
Yeah, so we're here at what's called the Point.
Yeah.
If you've been keeping tabs on us, you know this was one of our responsibilities to maintain this point. Keep it looking as beautiful as it is, and we'll
Yeah.
definitely show you around the point here in a little bit. But
Yeah.
let's go ahead and start rattling off our campground review. And you're better at this than I am.
Okay, so there's
if I start this, we're gonna be doing like 4 or 5 takes.
five categories. First one is site, space, and quality.
Correct.
Now, because we're volunteers here, we have, I think, the best spot in the whole park. I honestly, I think we have the best one. So we aren't going to rate it based on our site.
We are gonna rate it based on your site.
Yeah. Generally speaking, what are all the sites like? And they're actually really, really good.
Yeah. So let's start with the sites.
Yep.
What are we? Site quality.
Site, space, and quality.
Site space and quality. Okay, well, there's plenty of space, as you can see.
Yeah.
We're going to take you through this first site right about now. And you can see that there is quite a bit of space for you to put your rig in and put your camp chairs out and have a great fire. So make some s'mores.
They all have a gravel pad. They're great for tents and RVs. Well, we take care of them, so we know that they're very clean and well maintained.
And yours will be special.
That's right. And they have a lot of good privacy, actually.
Yes. So I guess we have to give it a score of a 1 through 10. And that's, if you're new with us, BuzzFam, we rate these 1 through 10. And there's 5 categories. So the max score is 50 points.
Yep.
And we're going to give this 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Site space and quality, I'd say.
10.
Generally speaking, 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's
they do a nice
couple of
job.
them that are right on the major road, but there's only like 3 of them that are really bad.
And none of them, you can't see the road, you just can hear it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not really a major road.
Yeah. There's a lot of trees, there's a lot of foliage throughout the whole park, so you really it feels like pretty good camping, like a state park.
Yes. Yes. A wooded state park.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so second
category.
That is utilities and hookups. So again, we're not going to talk about it from our perspective. We're going to talk about it from your perspective. So
in your perspective, we're going to give this, I believe it was a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it was
and
like
here's
6.
why.
Yep.
But this is 50 amps, so you can run a good sized rig on it. You just do not have water or sewer.
No, electric only. All the sites have electric. There's about 37 sites available to the public, and they've all got electric. They've all got great hookups that way, but no water, no sewer. So,
but you've got great Wi-Fi, so you do not need to use the campground's Wi-Fi here.
No, they don't have Wi-Fi.
Oh, they don't?
No, they don't even have Wi-Fi. So cell service, the best cell signal here was, what was it?
AT&T's got the best signal, and the reason why I know that is because I've got my Connect 10 app.
Yep.
And that told me that AT&T's got the best signal. The next one is Verizon and T-Mobile. They're paired up. So
okay.
The other thing is Starlink is not going to work well here.
Too many trees.
Too many trees.
And with that, there is a dump station, of course, so you can dump and fill and then dump again when you get done. So that is available to you before you hit your campsite if you're RVing.
Yes.
But there is no water, no sewer at any of the sites.
Well, we are on category 3.
Yep.
So we did 6 out of 10, and we
Yep.
did 10 out of 10. So we're at 16. So category 3, what do we got for category 3? Chrissy?
Amenities.
Amenities. How about that? All right.
Yep. Local amenities. And that
amenities. BuzzFam, there is something for everyone.
Everyone this is the golf mecca of Minnesota. There are more 5-star golf resorts right within 5 minutes of where we're staying than anywhere in Minnesota, I think.
Yes, and if golfing's not your thing, well, and maybe racing is, there is a freaking awesome racetrack
there
here.
is the International Raceway.
And they have some good racing there.
Every weekend they do.
Yes.
And if you're into the nature, well, if the park's not enough, you saw us over at Cuyuna Rec Area. Plus, there's another bike trail it's Paul Bunyan Bike Trail. There's mini golf and go-karts and
Paul Bunyan Land.
Plethora of restaurants nearby, on the water, off the water, everything you can think of.
Yep. If you need an amusement park, there's that.
Quintessential small town feel with a local town called Nisswa where you can do your little boutique shopping. There's ice cream shops.
World-class ice cream shops.
Yeah. Really, really good stuff.
Yep.
So 10 out of 10 for that.
10. So now we're at 26.
26 points. Next one is
category 4.
Category 4 is location and ambiance.
Location and ambiance. You are within the central Minnesota area.
Yep.
Location, it's prime.
It is. We're right on Gull Lake. So right here in the park, and that's part of the ambiance too. We're right on a lake. So you've got a fantastic boat launch right here. It's free for you to use because you've got a day park pass.
You can your pass.
So many people do. They pull their boats in right with their rig and they just spend the weekend out on the water. They come in, they have their campfires and they have they just hang around. I mean, it's an amazing weekend. So there's a boat launch, plus there's a really great beach. Both are kind of on the small side. So, I mean, this park is smaller. It's not a huge resort, but the amenities here are great. I mean, they have everything you need.
2 playgrounds.
3 playgrounds.
3 playgrounds.
Plus a picnic shelter. There's volleyball.
fish stations to clean your fish.
Yeah, there's fish cleaning stations, which is unusual.
And they are picked up daily.
Very clean.
We've got a contract, cleaning contract, where they clean the bathrooms daily, and that includes the fish stations.
Yep, yeah.
So there isn't a nasty fish smell that you walk into.
Very clean, very well maintained. Everything you need in just kind of that up north, Northwoods feel campground.
If you got a nice little VC visitor center, 2 of them actually.
Yeah, there's a little information booth. There's the ranger station here.
Yeah.
And they've got some, some little information about the area and some of the history. There's all kinds of interpretive signage around on the trails. There's a hiking trail. It's about a mile, that I maintain.
It's a 5-star hiking trail.
Yeah, right on.
And there's some 5-star rock beds around here too.
That's right. So it's got everything you need. It's just a little compact, but it's right on a beautiful, very popular lake in this lake region of Minnesota.
Yes.
It is amazing. So with that, we'd give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. So now we're at 36. All right. We've done 4 categories.
Yep, the last one is the best one, value for the money.
Value for the money. We always count our dollars, don't we, BuzzFam?
We sure do in this
here,
one.
You don't have to count a lot of dollars to stay.
No, it's for everybody, it's just $32 a night. They're open May 1st to October 15th, $32 a night. Max stay is 14 days. But if you're a senior or a veteran, you can get that for half price.
Yes.
So there you go, you guys. That brings us to 46 points. So when I times that by 2, I get 92%. So that's a solid A.
We are at an A at this point, and it deserves every bit.
It really does. It really does.
The only drawback are the hookups.
Yep, the hookups.
But the dump station is not that far away, and you can only stay here for 2 weeks. Most people are here about a week or less.
We see a lot of the same people back.
And they love it.
They do.
This is what we would call definitely a hidden gem.
Yeah. Yep, right here on the lake. It's peaceful. It's quiet. There's loons. We hear loons flying over our head every morning.
Yeah.
We get to hear loons.
Waking up to loons, and even in the evening.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the point here and just show you the view that we have.
All right. Sounds good, you guys. Here you go.
But we're basically on a little peninsula.
This is the Gull River.
Yes, and then right beyond that is Gull Lake. It's 10 miles in length. It's probably about a mile wide, maybe a half a mile. Oh, it's a little more than a half mile wide, but it's a fairly large lake, and it's one of the busiest lakes in central Minnesota.
Yeah.
Boat launch here is got to be one of the busiest.
It is.
It's nonstop.
It is nonstop. And one interesting factoid about this area too is it's part of the Mississippi River watershed.
Yes.
So this river, Gull Lake has the river, Gull River, that empties into, I think, the Crow River, or empties into the Mississippi River eventually.
Yeah, and all of this goes into the Gulf of America or Gulf of Mexico. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but however you want to interpret it, that's where all this water ends up.
Yep.
And we are at the water's edge, is what we like to call it. And here we get trumpeter swans, loons, we get white-tailed deer, river otters, and they are so fun to watch. I don't know if you've seen river otters just swim around. And we've got the rusty patch bumblebee and the mud turtle. It's actually, they call it the painted turtle, but I call it the mud turtle because they're always muddy.
We've also been had the pleasure of hanging out with some mergansers and watching them fish over by the dam. They have been so much fun.
That was just
to watch, zooming after their fish, and
they're better fishers than we were. That's for sure. I've been out fishing a couple times, and I caught about 2 sunnies that were about as big as my index finger. No lie, that's all I've gotten. But you know, it's funny, but the honeymoon seems to be ending.
It does.
You're gonna have to wait till next episode to find out about that. But yeah, I'm sorry to say, but our honeymoon's over, honey.
You know, leaving Minnesota is always kind of bittersweet for us. We're always looking forward to the next adventure, but leaving our family and the people that we love is always kind of tough. So coming back to Minnesota is something we'll be doing every year for at least a couple of months.
For a couple months every year.
Because we got to see the people that we love. Hopefully now that we're able to stay in some places a little longer, they'll come hang out with us.
We really love having you with us, Buzz Fam. And if you want to get closer to our content in ways that you don't see otherwise, join our Buzz Fam membership.
Yeah.
Starting at $2.99. You can't beat
Hey.
that. That's
Nice.
cheaper than a cup of coffee nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Buzz Fam, if you like this episode, I've got 2 more episodes you can buzz on each side of your screen. And remember to buckle up. It is a dangerous ride out there. And always keep your moral compass pointed north. So until next time, we'll see you then.
Bye, guys.